Okay, it's day 5, May 16th. It's Sunday. I told Quinn that Sundays would be pretty quiet in San Francisco, but it turned out not to be. I was surprised. Um, okay, so today is going to be getting out of San Francisco. Hopefully that'll be easy and heading towards Bakersfield, which is halfway to Joshua Tree or a little bit further. Um, I don't know how far we're going to drive today. Let's see. It says that we drive 308 miles, or about 300 miles, and it's about 6 hours that we'll end up driving today. Um, and so let's just go over it. So we get up and we're out, up, and I thought originally we'd take our time getting out, but I don't know. We got out of the hotel by 8:30, and we decided we want to go someplace where we could actually see the Golden Gate Bridge because it's one of the popular places to go. And so I looked up where you could view it really easy. And so yeah, so it was kind of neat because you have to go through the Presidio to get down there, and the Presidio is a cool foresty area that has rich people's houses and schools and things like that, and probably whomever. Okay, so you have to go through that, and then you finally get down to this viewing point where you get under the gate. So we drove, and I also wanted to go by the Painted Sisters. I think that's what it's called. Where it's these houses that you view from the highway that are painted different colors, and it's again a very visitor type place to see. So I put in Google to pass that place, and then head down to the Golden, and it said it would take about a half hour or longer to get down there. So we got going. We got out of the parking garage. Okay, yeah, it was expensive. It was $80 for 2 days. Better than $80 for one day. So thank you, Mister Fella, from a couple days ago. And then so we got going, and we took the road down, and we went by the Painted Sisters, and they weren't there. Okay, I don't know what went wrong with that, but it didn't matter. Um, and then we went through this Presidio, which was cool. It's these big tall trees, and then they weren't the big redwoods by any means, but they were tall trees, and then we just headed right. Then we got down to the park, and down there it was very busy. There was people parked there to watch, and then there was a lot of people running and walking, and so forth. And if I lived there, I'd probably be down there every day, every weekend myself running. Okay, but so went down there, took some pictures, and you'll see the pictures here. And we did that for a while. There's people surfing, and there's this little area right under the bridge that apparently has a wave or two that come up, and there's dotted with maybe 30 people out there trying to surf. And so the water's not it's not rough, but it's not calm either, and it's overcast as usual, and you could see in the hills where I was originally was thinking about going as you cross the Golden Gate Bridge, go into the hills. It was all overcast, and you'd be running, be if you went up in the hills, you would be looking just into fog or clouds. So it wasn't worth doing that. So we did that, and then I was trying to think about getting back on the highway to get to Bakersfield, and I don't like crossing bridges. Okay. And the only bridges we were going to cross were the Bay Bridge and some other, and they were both long, and I just don't like doing it. And okay, I decided to take the Bay Bridge that goes across to Oakland, and it's about 6 miles long. And kind of fortunate for my paranoia is that going east, so the bridge is split in two parts. The top part going west, is above, and you can see everything. the going east is under that, and you can't see anything. So that was comforting to me. All right. So I had no problem crossing this bridge at all. At least going east. All right. So we crossed it, and we, it's there's nothing spectacular going through Oakland. All right. I mean, it's just the highway going next to subdivisions and subdivisions. But at some point, Quinn says, "I want to go to a Jack in the Box," and which was one of the other places you want to go besides the In and Out that was special to California. All right, so he said we can do that, and then he picks one out, and I said, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." So I pull off just off and I exit about 10 miles east of Oakland and find a restaurant and gas up. See, with gas, what I did was we get about 20 miles a gallon, and the tank holds about 300 miles worth. I always made sure that we were above half, so I always topped it off. And then, so we, so while we were there, Quinn goes, "Oh, there's a Jack in the Box right there." I go, "You want to go there?" He goes, "Sure." So we go back, find the restaurant, and some reason I pass it, and I get lost. Not lost, but I take the wrong direction, and I pass it, and then I try to get back, and I couldn't get back on it, and then finally did it, and as I did this like 4 times, and I finally ended up in the at the Jack in the Box. Okay, now it has so we eat there. I don't think it's anything fantastic. It's kind of like Hardee's, Carl Jr.'s type place. But we have a hamburger, and it's good. And fries. I think I have onion rings. The only time I have onion rings on the whole trip, which is quite odd. And then hadn't had a Reuben either. Okay, which is odd, but I will. Okay, it's the last thing I do. And so we eat that, and we drive to the main highway. And the main highway takes us to where we want to go, to Bakersfield. And so what road is that? So we get on I-5, okay? And I-5 goes through basically a valley between the mountains of the on the coast and the mountains to the east, okay? And so it's flat, and you can see mountains on either side, in the kind of in the out in the distance, okay? And it's kind of, and I'm surprised at how crowded the highways are. I mean, people are going 70, 80 miles an hour, but there's a lot of cars, and I think we make one stop. I think maybe get gas or something, maybe go to the bathroom about halfway on a place called Coalinga, and nothing spectacular at all. All right, and there's farms, and then there's open field, desert type places, and there's places that keep on saying save water, and you can only guess why. I mean, this part of the country, they need water for their crops, but they need water for living, and it's hard to decide what's the worth. Okay, so my goal is to get to Bakersfield, and so Bakersfield is 300 miles away from San Francisco. It's a 5 or 6 hour trip, and so we leave San Francisco around 10:30, and we get into Bakersfield at 4:30, and I reserved a place called the Comfort Suites. It says it has 2 double beds and an extra room. It was kind of weird is that when they were looking at reservations for rooms, the place that we stayed in, our LA trip, the Carper Interior, the place we stayed there, the Sandy Inn place, okay, it said it had double room, double bed, and so we both thought that each one of us would not only have a bed, but we don't have our own separate room. And now I've been to places like that, and that seemed to apply it. Quinn said he wanted to do that because he said I was just snoring too much, all right, and he couldn't sleep. And so for this place, for Bakersfield, I was looking at the reservations place, and it said double same thing, and I go, maybe it means something different. And I look it up on the internet, and sure enough, it's a weird thing. It means it has a double bed, and it has a place that has a room for 2 people. So it's a double room, meaning 2 people with 2 beds. Okay, so I guess it's really a 2-person, 2-bed room. Okay, but it sounds like it's 2 rooms, 2 beds. So it's confusing. Not all places had that. Most places had 2 queen sizes, 1 room, right? But you had to figure this out. So this Comfort Inn said it had 2 rooms, 2 beds, but it clearly said that the 2 beds were in the same room, and there was another room adjacent to it, which wasn't really a separate room, just another separate space, okay, that had a couch in it, all right, that no one would use unless you, for some reason, want to sit on a couch instead of your bed. So we get to this place, we sign in, and it's like 4:30, and it's getting hot. Finally, it's sunshine, okay, and it's in the 70s and 80s. T-shirt, short weather finally, and good for that, okay, because that's actually a good way to finish this trip off, is in warm weather. All right, so we get to the hotel, we sit down, I have to make a call, let's go listen to Charlie and talk to somebody else, I can't remember, and I go sit down next to the pool, take off my shirt and get some burning rays on me, and I go, oh, this feels good. I've had this since Florida and during Christmas. Then I come back, and again, it's getting time for dinner. Basically, we ate at 10:30, 11 o'clock, but now it's time to eat. And so we pick. So Quinn looks and he finds a Mexican restaurant called the Old. He couldn't say it, but it's called. He said Hacienda, and I go Hacienda. He goes, yeah, all right. So there's a place called the Old Hacienda, and it was about a mile or so from the hotel. So it looked like we could walk to it, and we thought about it, but we had to cross major roads, and that wouldn't have been fun. So we drive to it, and I said also maybe we could look for this wall charger because mine had broken, and we need to get a new one, and so we figured we look for one before and after, and so we went to a couple gas stations because we thought they would be there, and we couldn't find any, and kind of weird section of town we're driving through. There'd be like the strip joints and like, okay, not sure if this is good. All right, and then so we went to La Hacienda, and it's good Mexican food. I ordered some called the sizzling enchiladas, and Quinn ordered I can't remember. Yeah, Rajenio or something, and it was like a fajita type thing, and chicken fajitas. And for drinks, I ordered this a Modella, a light Modella, and it was a draft, and it was this like a foot long glass that was about 4 inches thick, and it filled up tops, so it must have been about 20 ounces. And Quinn ordered a margarita. And so we've had how many Mexican dinners? And I think we've had 2 Mexican dinner, 2 fast foods, two sushis. Okay, so let's get in the spectrum a little bit of with food here. Okay, we finish up. You know, it's good. No person that like video game people tell us where to go or anything like that. So I said, well, we should try to see if we can get a wall charger, because the best thing we could do is to charge it in the car or charge it off my computer, which we can, but it charges really slow. So the best thing to do is just leave it in during the day on the car and charge it up full, and hopefully it doesn't run out overnight. But so we went to Walmart, and I dropped Quinn off, and he went inside to look for one, and he came back and he said, oh, I can't remember what he said, but he didn't get one. Either were too expensive or they didn't have them. And so the road that we came in on, it was 2 ways, separated by by a whatever they call those things, a grass barrier between the 2 roads. And when you come out of Walmart's, it goes, you have to go turn right, but we had to go left. So what I had to do was to make a right and cross over the median. And so I had to cross the median somehow, not the barrier. It didn't come into my head. So we crossed the barrier, then you had to make a left and head back. Well, for some reason, my brain, it's not because I drank that 20 ouncer, because I don't think I felt it. Maybe it did, and when I got to the end of the driveway to turn, instead of turning right, I turned left. And Quinn says, "You just turned out into a one-way road." And I look and I see, shit, excuse my language. And I could see cars coming, and they were luckily a quarter mile away. And I started panicking. I go, "Oh no, what am I gonna do? Drive up on the median? All right, there's gotta be something." And then I realized I could just make a U-turn. So I made a U-turn and headed back. I was going the same way as everybody else, and way before any cars show up. So it was okay, and I was maybe able to get over in the left-hand lane, cross the median, and head back. All right, and then we headed back and the hotel and checked in for the night. We thought last night, with day 4, we thought, we finally got to sleep at like 11:30 or something like that, and we thought we were adapting, and we thought we could stay up late at night. Now we could stay up past 8. Well, that didn't turn out to be true, because we got back to the hotel at 9, and we were in bed and asleep by 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And that was day 5. Well, I guess driving takes a lot out of you, all right? And so tomorrow's day 6, and it's on to Joshua Tree. And I've been doing this. It's been surprisingly, I didn't think I would be doing this, but I've been doing this for 2.5 hours. And I'm going to take a break and come back to day 6. I may split this up into days, and I'm going to put pictures along with them. So if you're interested in watching it, and you can watch it day by day without just watching the whole thing. The first day would be the longest, because I talk about everything I don't know, maybe tomorrow will be the longest, day 6. But tomorrow's kind of the last day of the trip in California. and it'll be heading to Joshua Tree, which I don't know why I wanted to go there, except it's Joshua, and that's my name. And it sounds kind of cool. And then there's the YouTube album. I think it was called Joshua Tree, and I guess I've heard Joshua Tree pop up a lot lately. And like it's near Coachella, and I've heard that. So I don't know. It just seemed like a place to want to go. And it's a national park, and it's cool, and it's nature, and and it's gonna be in the desert, which is kind of neat. And so I thought that would be a good place to go. So it's on a break here, and I think and we'll get into day 6 and day 7, and maybe a little day 8 is the finishing everything off. Even though day 6 was really the ending day. All right, so that's it for day 5.